All right, what's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to do something a little bit different. With all this like chaos going on in the world right now with this epidemic and the coronavirus and just everything that's going on right now, amongst all the chaos that's already there, we're in a time right now where people are coming out of the woodworks, from the religious side to the political side to sides we didn't even know existed, to give out their 2 cents of what they think is going on, whether they think the coronavirus is a conspiracy theory and there's an agenda to push certain things like 5G and population control, or even as deep as to how like people like Alex Jones and stuff talk about like the one world order, the one world government with one currency and all that crap. And then on the religious side of things, there's people pushing their own agendas with the end times and all this prophetic stuff and all this stuff that's happening. And these are the signs that Jesus is coming back soon. So you better prepare, you better get ready. And with all this chaos that's already going on, we don't need more stuff, but it can be entertaining, I guess. But it can also be super freaking confusing, man. But I've always been super into this stuff, so I figured today we would react to some stuff online about this virus and all these conspiracy things that are going on and all that. And the video I chose to use for this is a video from a channel called A and O. I'm pretty sure it's A and O or A and Q, but I'm pretty sure it's A and O. And yeah, Alpha and Omega. I'm pretty sure that's what that stands for. But they have this video on their channel that they just released a couple days ago that is entitled, "These Strange Things Are Happening Worldwide While You Are Quarantined, 2020 Prophetic Times." So I figured we would just sit down, spend some time today, and just react to some of these things and share my perspective, and hopefully open up the comments down below to share you guys' perspective. And let's find out. So at the beginning of this video here, we start out with like the coronavirus type stuff, and they asked Bill Gates what his idea of like a nightmare scenario would be, and watch what he says.
Fortunately, there's very few things, and most of them are very low probability. I rate the chance of a nuclear war in my lifetime as being fairly low. I rate the chance of a widespread epidemic far worse than Ebola in my lifetime as well over 50%. An epidemic that would be more infectious and would spread faster than Ebola did. This is the greatest risk of a huge tragedy. This is the most likely thing by far to kill over 10 million excess people in a year.
10 million excess people in a year. Okay, get that. He's saying that there's like a 50% chance in his lifetime that they're gonna see an epidemic that is gonna kill like at least 10 million people, you know? And what's crazy is he's also a person that seems to be doing a lot of stuff about population control and everything else, but we'll get into that a little bit deeper later. Let's keep going. He then goes on to say like how we're not ready for the next epidemic and how we should get ready because it could be very disastrous if we don't learn from the past, which when he was talking about it, we were facing like Ebola and stuff like that. So I don't think we've prepared much since then. But I also think there's a little more behind this story than just a random virus popping out of nowhere. And that's where we're gonna get into right here, where there was this meeting that was set up that was called Event 201. And people are saying that it is kind of like to prepare people into get people ready to push the Agenda 21. And if you guys don't know what that is, we'll get more into that in a second also. But first, let's figure out what is this Event 201 that everyone's talking about and that happened to have a lot of weird stuff. Now what it basically was, as you're about to see, is it was like a simulation that was set up with fake news reports and fake things and fake news anchors and reporters set up, and it was like to like simulate, you know, the scenario of one of these things happening. And it's pretty crazy. Let's check it out.
The outcome of the CAPS pandemic in Event 201 was catastrophic. 65 million people died in the first 18 months. The outbreak was small at first and initially seemed controllable, but then it started spreading in densely crowded and impoverished neighborhoods of megacities. From that point on, the spread of the disease was explosive. Within 6 months, cases were occurring in nearly every country. The global economy was in a free fall. The GDP down 11%. Stock markets around the world plummeted between 20 and 40%.
Yeah,
and headed
that
into
sounds
a downward
familiar.
cycle of fear and low expectation. Businesses were not borrowing, banks were not lending. Everyone was just hoping to hunker down and weather the storm. Economists say the economic turmoil caused by such a pandemic will last for years, perhaps a decade. The societal impacts, the loss of faith in government, the distrust of news, and the breakdown of social cohesion could last even longer. We have to ask, did this need to be so bad? Are there things we could have done in the 5 to 10 years leading up to the pandemic that would have lessened the catastrophic consequences? We believe the answer is yes. So, are we as a global community now finally ready to do the hard work needed to prepare for the next pandemic?
In one of these videos that took place at this event, they had a video with like the news anchors and stuff that were fake and all that. And they said that the biggest threat would be the widespread of misinformation and disinformation out there concerning all this stuff. So to prevent that, they wanted to lock down the internet so that they can control the information and what people are hearing about and learning about and the sources of where they're getting all this crap from. And I don't know, all this stuff seems a little sketchy because it kind of seems like it's been planned, man, or it was expected, and it was kind of like, yeah, like expected to come, and they were just kind of talking about it right in front of us and no one did anything about it. But let's keep digging a little bit deeper, because Event 201, and they are trying to correlate that with Agenda 21. So let's dig a little bit deeper in this video and find out what is Agenda 21, what comes along with this agenda.
Event 21, which of course is Agenda 21.
At its core, Agenda 21 is about control. Control of the land, natural resources, and entire populations. It seeks to control the air by regulation of carbon emissions, the ground by sustainable development, and the sea through environmental regulations. Officially stated, Agenda 21 is a comprehensive plan of action to be taken globally, nationally, and locally by organizations of the United Nations system, governments, and major groups in every area in which human impacts on the environment. Because being human will always have an impact on the environment, Agenda 21 paves the way for extraordinary UN control. When you boil it down, there are 9 basic tenets of Agenda 21. Move citizens off private land and into urban housing. Create vast wilderness spaces inhabited by large carnivores. Eliminate cars and create walkable cities. Support chosen private businesses with public funds for sustainable development. Make policy decisions that favor the greater good over individuals. Drastically reduce the use of power, water, and anything else that creates carbon pollution. Use bureaucracies to make sweeping decisions outside of democratic processes. Increase taxes, fees, and regulations. And finally, implement policies meant to incentivize a reduced population.
And like one of the reasons why I'm showing all this is because of that last point that she made right there, where she said about population control. And a lot of people seem to believe that that is one of the reasons why this coronavirus just came out of nowhere. They believe it to be a way to control the population, to get rid of, like Bill Gates said back in, what was that, like 2015, talking about like 10 million people in under a year. That's what people are believing. And they're also believing that it's a way to get people into a one world like payment system. So everyone's relying on a government. And we'll talk about that in a couple minutes too. But, you know, and then also the 5G in the schools, and we'll talk about all that. But and another thing that people believe is happening right now is that this is being used as a way to push out and roll out martial law and to steal people's freedom of speech and freedom of information, pretty much. Because if they're shutting down the internet, because that's where that's where the majority of the world like relies on that's what the majority of the world relies on for their information, is the internet. So it's like if they shut that down, they can start to control us even more. And if they start rolling out martial law, man, bye-bye America. Bye-bye America. And I don't want to be that person that's saying that's what's happening, but we're about to scroll forward a little bit right here, and let's see some proof of some sketchy stuff happening, man, in places like Chicago and in LA. Like, there's being military vehicles by the dozens rolled into these places, into these major cities, and tanks and everything, man. And it is, I don't want to be the conspiracy theorist here, but it does make you think. And I think that we should all be paying attention because, you know, this whole virus thing, it's resetting a lot of things and it's putting a lot of things on hold. So don't put it past anything for it to be a distraction of some sort. Don't make your decisions, but be aware and observe, man. Observe. So let's see what's happening with this martial law and these military vehicles. See? Now you could say that's to
Holy shit. Look at this.
protect Americans from other
Headed towards
countries,
Chicago
but
right now.
like this is in Chicago.
Holy sh**. This is... Chicago's about to go on lockdown.
This is downtown Los Angeles.
This is LA. Tanks
They
by
got
the dozens.
full of tanks down here. Look, right here. Look, I'm walking across the street for y'all. Look.
Whole
And
train
this is
field.
what we dealing with downtown LA. Y'all won't think I'm bullshitting? Downtown.
Like I don't want to be that
Dodger
conspiracy
Stadium over
theorist,
here,
man,
so
but
y'all bullshitting.
explain this to me, please.
Y'all better get ready. These motherfuckers about to do some shit to us, bro.
I agree. We gotta get ready. But for real, guys, if martial law starts rolling in, and you guys think that the quarantine and lockdowns we're in now are bad, wait till they're ordered to shoot to kill if you leave your house. But then when you think the chaos and the weirdness couldn't get any worse right now, man, they're letting people out of prison. They're letting people that like deserve to be behind bars for violent crimes and stuff. They're letting them out of prison to run the streets for no reason. Like they're literally letting people out of prison, man. Violent people out of prison. But not only that, in places like Chicago and stuff like that, they're like telling the cops to not even arrest people for small crimes, not even to arrest people for a whole list of crimes, man, because just don't worry about it, man. We don't want to infect the people in prison. Forget about all the people that deserve to be free out in the streets and not be at risk of not only a virus but of a crazy criminal.
Letting prisoners go. Yeah,
Unbelievable, that one now. That's another one.
Okay, so this is happening, folks. Some of the states now are starting to release prisoners because of the virus, right? This is what they're saying. So they're letting inmates out of the prisons. At the same time,
and not only that, people are going around right now literally committing crimes, robbing stores, doing whatever they want in a lot of these places in a lot of these states right now because they know that there's not going to be any trouble to come from it. Let's just steal from a store like we see right here. Let's just fill up our bags, not even hide our face, and let's just, act like it's no big deal, because it's not. Why, man? They're not going to send us to jail. There's a virus happening. Let's go loot up the whole freaking city.
I don't know if you saw this, KJ. I reported on it yesterday. I did a video. Philadelphia suspended normal police operations. So the Philadelphia Police Department is no longer going to respond to normal sort of crimes.
Not Chicago.
Theft, auto theft, right? All these different, there's a whole list that they released.
But isn't Philadelphia the same one who's not going to prosecute smaller crimes, right?
Yeah,
and
yeah,
they release the prisoners. Okay, yeah.
Yeah. So
now to try to keep this video kind of short, we're gonna jump to just one last topic that they talk about in this video towards the end here, and that is about the huge topic everyone's worried about and talking about recently, and that is 5G. And listen, I don't know what to think. I'm not an expert in this stuff. I don't really know enough, and I'm comfortable saying I don't know enough. But I'm still gonna give my perspective, and I'm still gonna share the information from people that have had firsthand encounters with this stuff. And we're gonna see the reality of it. I don't know if the reality is as extreme as people were saying or it's not, but I'm gonna let you guys be the judge for this. This is stuff that's happening right now when kids are out of their school, and they think the government's using this virus to keep people locked in their homes and out of public areas like schools and jobs and stuff like that, so they can start implementing 5G. And 5G, as a lot of us know, is known to have a lot of bad problems with it, man, causing a lot of health problems, sicknesses, disease, and with nature. And it's nature. It's affecting nature, like we're gonna see with this tree. Half it has bark and leaves on it, half of it doesn't. It's a little crazy, man. I don't know. Let's check it out.
I wanted to show you this reciprocation that this woman had sent to Logic Before Authority. Let me just go ahead and read it so you guys can get an idea of what she said. The first thing she said was this: I work for the local school board. 5G has been getting a lot of bad press lately. The U.S. Department of Education has been wanting to roll out the 5G network in many district schools. Unfortunately, the parents as a whole would try to stop the implementation of it, so the U.S. Department of Education decided to close the schools during the pandemic. She says for two reasons: one, to make parents think it's for children's safety against the virus, and two, to install 5G networks in many district schools. 5G companies have been instructed to use the guise of a, quote, disinfecting company. Strict orders. If anyone asks, you're a cleaning company there to disinfect the schools. Do not tell anyone that you're there installing 5G. All contractors must sign a non-disclosure agreement! Exclamation mark. Please help is how she ended that.
So we're gonna stop that right there. There's a little more that goes into that, and there's a little bit more after, but I think we get the drift in that email. Like, man, this is some, if this is real, this is some shady stuff happening right now. And as much as I'm trying to be, you know, comical and add a little bit of humor and try to be more upbeat, man, this is some serious stuff that's happening right now, and we need to be paying attention to it. And let's just listen to a couple of these phone calls from people on here. Like, the one guy notices people outside the school, and he goes and addresses them with these cops, and, you know, and they're just super awkward about it. This other guy notices these weird vans sitting outside the school, his kid's school, so he calls and, like, you know, what are these vans for? And they're just like, I don't know, whatever. And then he's like, well, they're for 5G. And as soon as he asks that, they just hang up. There's just a lot of weird stuff, man, and we gotta get to the bottom of this, man.
These cops are acting weird.
Okay, so here's the one right here where the guy walks up and he confronts the cops that are sitting outside, and as soon as he asks them, like, about the 5G, watch this one cop's, like, watch his whole demeanor change, man. It's crazy.
I want to know why you're writing my license plate down.
Thanks for your question.
And why you're all standing around here. Why are there cops here at the school? What are you guys installing?
Any other questions?
No, you want to answer any of them?
Nope, I don't.
Why?
Because I don't have to. I don't want to.
Sketchy.
Why are there 3 cops here that aren't even in
What are you
cop
doing over there?
clothes? I'm trying to
Are
figure
you
out
going
what
to church?
I'm trying to figure out what everybody's doing at these schools.
Are you on private property there? Why are you parked in there?
That's a real deflective question.
It really is.
Why can't you answer any of
I
mine?
don't want to.
Because you're up
Why
to no
don't you
good,
answer
aren't
my
you?
question?
Are you trying to kill my kids?
I'm
It's
trying
coming
to
up.
kill
Just
your
wait
kid?
for it.
Yeah, what are you
You
guys
got some
doing here?
identification on you?
I don't think
I
that
think
matters.
we need to call some law enforcement over here.
I think
You're
we have
acting
some.
weird.
I haven't done anything wrong. I have
You're
rights.
coming over here asking weird questions.
Weird questions
Yeah,
that
weird
you won't
questions.
answer.
You think people are trying to kill you
No,
and your
I
family.
don't. I'm questioning if your guys are installing 5G in this school. Because I have it on a good source that you are.
You see how his whole demeanor changed like
And
that?
will you answer that question?
Nope, I won't.
You won't answer it?
Nope.
Okay, I'll make sure to share this record with
You
people.
go do that.
Thank you.
Do you guys not see how crazy that is? These are people that are supposed to, like, protect people. You know, these are the people that are supposed to be out there, like, protecting the people. Not supposed to be, like, sketchy and keeping information withheld from them. That seems to be not very positive for the community. And then this next one right here is the one I'm talking about, like the tree, where it's literally split in half. Like, half it has bark, half it doesn't, half it has leaves, half of it doesn't. And it is kind of crazy, man. Like, I don't want to be that conspiracy person, like I keep saying, but there's definitely something up with this, man. I don't know. Check it out.
The right hand side. It's all right. Yeah. Right. Well, look at the right hand side of the tree. Look at the front. Look at the bushes.
Look, one whole side
All
has
the green
leaves.
bushes. Yeah. Very nice. Look at the left hand side.
The whole other side of the tree is dead, man.
Dead.
Dead.
You know why? Because that's right next to it.
5G.
Have you seen anything like that in your life?
Nope.
Well, like
Definitely
right
not.
there. The transmitter on the top. These fat transmitters are lethal. If that's what it's doing to a tree, right next to a tree, think about what these are doing to our health.
For real.
Just think about that for a minute.
He's right, man. He's right. Now this last one I want to show you guys real quick. It is this is the one where the guy, he pulls up to the school and he calls because he calls the school because he sees some, like, suspicious white vans in the parking lot, and watch what happens when he asks about the 5G. Like, he literally just gets hung up on, like, right away. It's crazy. It's a little sketchy the whole way leading up, but then once he asks that question, hang up.
Hey there. I just noticed some white vans in the parking lot. I was wondering if you could tell me what they were doing.
Who is this?
This is Jim.
This is Jim. Okay. I know, be serious.
From the city, you know. I was just wondering. I noticed they were contractor vans. I was just wondering if there was anything scheduled at the high school today for them to be working on.
Yep, we've got stuff going on.
Oh, is it related to the virus at all?
No.
Oh, is it anything to do with the 5G?
hung up on. What is happening, man? Why is this stuff so secret, and why is there so much sketchy like vibes and energy off off of all this stuff, man? It's if it's not a conspiracy, if it's not a big deal, and if it's not as bad as people are making it seem, well, they're pretty much doing a great job at making the general public believe that there is sketchy stuff happening. If there's nothing happening, if it is just some super fast internet and all this great stuff, they're sure not doing a very good job at convincing the public of that, because man, the way that they're acting, the things that they're covering up, the way that the world has been recently, I can't help but believe that there's something up, man. But all right, so now with all that being said, I want to know you guys' opinion on all this stuff. What do you guys think of the New World Order and the one world currency? And what do you guys think about the 5G being put in all the neighborhoods and in the schools? Good or bad? What do you guys think about the coronavirus being used as a way to set in place martial law and control the freedom of speech and the freedom of being able to share true information on the internet? And do you guys really think this is the end times, or do you think this is just something that happened and people are blowing it way out of proportion? I want to know you guys' opinions down below. Yeah, man, this is some real stuff to me. I love talking about this stuff. So if you guys want to see more stuff like this in the weeks and days ahead, please subscribe and comment down below. Let me know if you guys love stuff like this, if you guys want to see more videos like this. Either way, let me know your opinions down below. And thank you for watching as always, and ciao. Peace.